Okay, good morning, good afternoon, Amaratzim. It's the afternoon here, Thursday afternoon. Like I said, I go ahead, so I'm on, today is May 27th, I think. A little bit ahead of you, but you'll get there. Today's daf is Nun Zayin, I'm sorry, 57. Again, I'm going to explain Amaratzim is a good thing. I'm going to have to explain this a lot, that it's good to be an Amaretz, about the world, because the deep secrets of the Gemara can only be discovered when you know about the world. We'll see later. The Gemara on the bottom of Nun Vav Amud Beis says, Tana Rabbanan, V'chein yasa la'ol moed, ma talmud lomar. We said earlier in the earlier dapim that they used to one of the mitzvahs of Yom Kippur is the Kohen Gadol sprinkles on the kaporis, near the kaporis in the Kodesh HaKadoshim. He sprinkles from the dama par and the dama soyer, each one echad lamala v'sheva lamata. So now our Gemara is saying he also goes and sprinkles in front of. He goes after he's done with that. He goes outside of the Kodesh HaKadoshim, and the pasuk says he also puts it. On blood on the four chronos of the Mizbeach Hazav, but also this Gemara is talking about that he sprinkles Achas Lamala V'Sheva Lamata, both of the Dama Par and the Dama Sar individually, on the aimed at the parochas from the outside. So the Gemara says, what is this teaching? He also does it in the heichal itself. He repeats what he does inside, he does it outside. So the Gemara continues darshaning this pasuk. This is pasuk Ted Zayin in Perek Ted Zayin. Continues to darsh this pasuk. I feel b'shasha who contained tmei and shchini imayim. Even Klal Yisrael is tamei, the shchini is with him. Amar le'el Tzeduki l'Rebbi a certain Tzeduki said to Rabbi Chanina, hashta brei tmeim asun bari tmeim asun dechsiv tumasa b'shula. Now that you are vadai tamei, because it says in Eicha that when the base maker is destroyed, that they're tamei. He said, "You're tamei." Amarlei tachazi maksibu. So he answered him, "See this pasuk that says about Hashem chenitam b'soch tumasam." The Torah says that Hashem resides with Klal Yisrael even when they're tamei. Now I'll come back to why the Gemara brings the end of this pasuk and makes this drush over here. What does it have to do with the halachas of the Gemara over here? Maybe we'll see soon the connection. So the Gemara has a different question. The Gemara says, we learned all these things. It says, so which is the hekesh from the Kodesh HaKadoshim to the Heichal. So, but we already learned the sprinklings going on in the Kodesh HaKadoshim. We're going to learn from Ekeshim that Echad Lamala V'Sheva Lamata for the Sawyer and for the Par, half of the Limud, Sheva Lamata, and the Echad Lamala, we each learned from a Hekesh themselves. You can't go and teach in Kachim. One of the Klolim is you can't go learn to Hekeshim. We can't learn a Hekesh from something that was already learned from a Hekesh. So the Gemara's first answer is that it's really not learning a hekesh from a hekesh, because it's heimanu v'davar acher. Meaning what? Meaning that heimanu v'davar acher means that it wasn't completely learned the hekesh. The first thing was a partial limud, meaning we know already that there was you have to do lamala and lamata. You have to do for the sawyer and the par inside the Kodesh HaKadoshim. You have to do a lamala and lamata. We just didn't know how many lamala and how many lamata. It's only a partial limud. So that a partial limud could go ahead and use that to teach another hekesh. That's the Gemara's first answer. Hanichal manamar de lo heavy hekesh. Lamadamar heavy hekesh. According to one who says it is a hekesh, Michael Memor. Whereas another answer, makomosu de gamri mehadadi. The Gemara says that really makomosu de gamri that Rashi says ein ze hekesh halam min hekesh shari behekesh arishon lamdu behemos zumi zuba asa as dama kasher asa dama par. Over hekesh sheni lo hukush shum davar laachas min behemos. It's different hekeshim. The first hekesh was learning from par to sar and sar to par. Now we're learning from heichal, from kodesh hakdashim to heichal. It's totally different hekesh. It's two different types of hekeshim. That's not a problem. Hekesh min a hekesh. Iba yisema, a third answer. Chutz mifnim bechada zimna gomer. Since the first limud for part of Sawyer was talking about a specific detail, how many lamal and how many lamata. So therefore, it's actually one big hekesh that's learned. It's one limud. Once we have the hekesh from the Chen L'Chasala Al Moed, it basically just pulls along everything, all the details that had in the first limud, and it pulls everything together, and it's one big hekesh. Tana. The Brisa says, a new Brisa which teaches that when he does the hazah outside in the heichal towards the parochas, he doesn't actually go on the parochas. Amar Lezer, he said, this is not exactly true, because when he went to Rome, take a shade out from somebody, he was granted permission to go into the treasury over there and see what was going on, and he saw the parochas from the Beis Hamikdash by Sheni, and there was actually blood, drops of blood on it, and he assumed it was the Parvis Sarjan Kippurim. So how can you say you're not supposed to do it on top of it, on the actual curtain? The Gemara says maybe it's not true. Maybe he really saw the Parvisar or Parhalam Davar Shel Sibor is a case where the Sanhedrin makes a ruling on a davar that you're normally chayiv karis for. They make b'shogeg, they make a ruling by mistake, and Rov of Klal Yisrael sins, so you have to bring a Parhalam Davar Shel Sibor. Or Sir Avodah Zarah is basically the same idea. It's just when they make a mistake about Avodah Zarah, and Rov of Klal Yisrael sins based on that. Those also you sprinkle in the heichal towards the parochas. Maybe it was them. Mar says Davidik is sidron. It was made in a way that was done, like we said. He does it in like a kemenagdana. He does like a line, achas lamala v'sheva lamata. So it was a line down. So it was presumably from Yom Kippur. V'sna nami gai paral narashel sibur ki ay gavna. K'shumaza lo yinogin parochas imnagu nagu. And the Gemara also brings a Mishnah which says, which is going to say the opposite of what we're just trying to say, that by the Param Davar Shel Sibor and the Sirah Shel Avodah Zarah, they would sprinkle, when they do the sprinkling, also they wouldn't directly do it on the parochas, they would in front of it. And if it touched, it touched. Amar Lazar Rabbi Yossi, Ani Reisi Baromi Vayu Alei Akam Tibi Dam Shel Param Davar Shel Sibor, Sirah Avodah Zarah. He thought it was the Param Davar Shel Sibor and Sirah Avodah Zarah. The Gemara says, "V'dilma the Par V'Sari Shalem Kippurim." Nenu. Maybe it was part of Zir Shalem Kippurim, and the Gemara says, "The Chaznu Davidi Shalok Sidra." This version of the Mishnah, I guess the Meila, this version would assume that he saw it in a way that wasn't in order. So therefore, we could assume it was a par Helam Davar Shel Sibor and Sirah Avodah Zarah. Now the Gemara has a new question. Let's say blood got mixed together. The par of Sawyer, Yom Kippur, the blood got mixed together before you sprinkled it. Amarava no saying achas lamala v'sheva lamata va'olulo lakana laka. Now it's interesting. The Gemara is bringing this scenario when we're talking about sprinkling in front of the parochas, not inside the Kodesh HaKadoshim. Why is that? We'll have to see later. Rav would said, no sin achas lamala v'sheva lamata. Now you have a mixture of dama par and dama sawyer. So what does he say? You do? You just do one sprinkling lamala and sheva lamata. Oh, lakan. It's good for your yotze, both the par and sawyer. It's a mixture. Your yotze. Amro kamed Rabbi Yirmi Amar bavlai tipshai mishum the diary ba'ara dechashocha armi shmaisa de machashkan. They live in a dark place. Bavel, I guess, had less sunlight than other places. They say black things. They say things which are not clear. Seemingly that's the explanation. Doesn't mean they're wrong. It means they're not clear. If you're going to do like Rava says, so then you're going to end up doing the lamala. You're doing one sprinkling above for both par and sawyer. So the lamala of the sawyer is going to come before lamata of the par. We learn out of drasha. First you do echel lamala v'echel lamata shel dama par, and then echel lamala v'echel lamala shel dama sawyer. So you have to finish the par before you start the sawyer. What you do when you have this mixture is you do echel lamala and sheva lamata for the par in commemoration of the par. And then you do another echel lamala v'sheva lamata in the name of the sawyer. Now the Gemara has a new question. What about he sprinkled achal amala shel par, and the bloods weren't mixed, and then the blood became mixed afterwards. Savar of Papa Kamei Rava Lamemer Nosin Sheva Lamata l'shem par l'shem sawyer. The Choser v'Nosin achas amala l'shem sawyer. So Rav Papa said in front of Rava, I have an idea. I have an answer to this question. What you do is you do Sheva Lamata l'shem par l'shem sawyer. Do 7 below, and then you do 1 above for the sawyer. Amalei Rava ad hashta karlan tivshai. Until now, before what I said, they called me stupid. Hashta tivshai. Now we're going to be very stupid. The kagamrina lo gamiri. They taught us what the right way should be. V'hakayav mata the sawyer mikame malad. So you're going to put the springs below of the sawyer before the ones the mal of the sawyer. Torah amra tein lamala v'achar lamata. First the Torah's order was first lamala and then lamata. Nunvava Zainam Advez. Allah Amarava no sein sheva lamata l'shem par v'chozer no sein achas lamala v'sheva lamata l'shem sawyer. What you do is you do sheva lamata for the par, and then you go ahead and do like the order 1 above and 7 below for the sawyer. Nizarvu lo kosos bekosos. Let's say you had the coast, which is the cup there. You collected the dama par. In the coast, you collected the dama sawyer. No sein v'chozer v'nosein shlosha pamim. So let's say Rashi says she'eno makir ezo koshel par ezo koshel sawyer. It's not that blood didn't get mixed together. We're talking about where you don't know which cup it is. Is it a cup of the par, the cup of the sawyer? The blood is separate. You just don't know which one it is. So therefore, you have to do it 3 times. In order, she explains, to get around to figure it out for each possibility. That because the one possibility is that you're doing the sawyer first. So therefore, you have to go ahead and do the par and then the sawyer, because the par has to come before the sawyer. That's why you have to do it 3 times. Nisarvulo mixes dam and nisarvulo mixes dam lo nisarvulo. Let's say part of the blood was mixed together, and part of the blood you have separate. The part of the dam and par and sawyer is mixed, and then you have separate par and sawyer. Pshita kiyayim v'adayin yayiv. So the pshita, the Gemara says, pasha, you go with the vada. You use that blood to do the sprinkling and not the mixture. Mi yuhanach shirayim havu. The rest of the blood, which is mixed, which you're not using, where does it go? Does it go, you put it on the base of Mizbeach, or maybe you put it in the Amma, you put it in Nachal Kidron, where all the waste goes. Amar of Papa, Filamon Damar Kos Echad Osa Chaveru Shirayim. We're going to have a machlokes later on about where you had it in 1 cup and you had other cups left over. That's only talking about a case we're going to see later where you could technically use that blood, but here you can't use the blood. Lo, for sure would go to the Amma, Nachal Kiddush. So the Gemara says, Amar later Rav Huna Breder Shula Rav Papa Adarabba Fiu Leman Da Amar Kosachra Osa Chavero Docho Yahani Mili Dachye Biyadayim Aval Heichad Lo Dachye Biyadayim Lo. It's only a case only talking about where you push it away with your hands. But here you didn't push it away; it just got mixed by itself. The Sanya Lamalo Omer, we have the Brisa which discusses this machlokes. I just the aforementioned machlokes. Lamalo Omer ves Damo Yishbach. Lamata Omer ves Kol Damo Yishbach. One pasuk says that you should pour the blood on the yesod, which is the base of the mizbeach, and the second pasuk says Kol Damo, all the blood. So minayin lachata shekivel dama ba'arba kosos v'natan mizeh achas u'mizeh achas. He was makabel the blood of the chatas in 4 cups, 1 korban, and he took from each cup to put on. You have to put on the 4 corners of the mizbeach. Shakul and nishbach in the yesod. The remnants of all the cups go to the yesod. Tamalor is called dama yishbach. Yachal afil nasan arba matanos ma'achas man. Maybe you had 4 cups and you gave all 4. You placed on all 4 corners from one of the cups. Talmud Lomar is damo yishbach. Damo yishbach. Hu nishbach liyasod. Dehe nishbach in the amma. Damo is singular, so that blood of that cup, the remnants in that cup, go to the yesod, and the other 3 cups go to the amma, go to the nachal kidron. Well, that's a Reb Shimon Omer minayin lachata shekibel damo ba'arba kosos v'nasan arba matanos me'echad mehen shekul nishbach in the yesod. He says no, that in this case where you were makabel on 4 kosos and you placed 4 placings with one of the cups, that all of them, all the blood, all of the other 3 cups also go to the yesod. Talmud that's called dama yishboch. That's the pasuk called dama yishboch comes to include all the blood goes to the yesod. What do you do with the pasuk that at a singular blood, only part of the blood goes to the yesod? It's signaling that other parts of the blood would go nachal kidron. The actual remnants of blood in the neck of the animal, that blood would go to nachal kidron. That is basically the gist of this Gemara, of this Nun Zayin. Now, I want to mention a chiddush over here on Daf Nun Zayin, signature chiddush. As we mentioned before, that one question we had is why is the Gemara include this Gemara Shochin Yisam B'toch Tumasam over here, that it says that afilu b'shes tumasam shchina imayim. Why the Gemara? It seems like I got it just thrown in the middle of a halachic Gemara. Secondly, we said over here we had the shailas in the Gemara when the dama par and the dama sari are mixed together. The maskan of the Gemara seems to be that you take the blood and you do achas lamala v'sheva lamata l'shem par, and achas lamala v'sheva lamata l'shem sawyer. Now, technically, all the blood is mixed, so you're really doing twice achas lamala v'sheva lamata for dama par, and same for dama sawyer. Should be a problem about tosif maybe. So what's really going on over here? You're over about tosif, and second or third of all, the blood might not be mixed well together. The Gemara doesn't say that the blood is mixed evenly. So it's possible that when you're doing achas l'mala v'sheva l'mata l'shem par, you don't always, on all those 8 sprinklings, you don't have, maybe in one of them you don't have the dama par. I want to say over here that the Gemara learned, it's really like the Gemara's nidon was really a hekesh min a hekesh. Pasuk in Perak Ted Zayin, Pasuk Ted Zayin, for the previous 2 psukim, Pasuk Yadal, Pasuk Ted was talking about the par and sawyer that you sprinkle in the Kodesh HaKadoshim on the kaporas, or near the kaporas, towards the kaporas, or in front of the kaporas, the Aron. And Pasuk Ted Vav also talks about, he talks about the sawyer. Pasuk Tet Zayin, it says, "V'chiper al hakodesh v'tumos b'nei Yisrael al pi Shem l'chol chatusam l'chein yasel l'almoed l'shocheni tzam b'toch tumasam." So it's really the Gemara is learning out from the Kodesh HaKadoshim to the Heichal without mentioning specifics by the Heichal. So it could be that when we learn V'chein yasel l'ol moed to teach me that Achal Samala v'Sheva Lamata from the Dama Par and from the Dama Sawyer, that is not an exact lim, but it's not like we Samar says, it's not exactly a hekesh min a hekesh, a hekesh alama min a hekesh. It's a little different. As the Gemara says, "Shochim tam b'tok tu masam," it's coming. V'chein yasel l'moed shochim tam b'tok tu masam. The Gemara is being merabe that even though lechatchila it should be like it's done in the Kodesh HaKadoshim, achas l'mal v'sheva l'mata, but b'di'evid the Torah is telling you that since really the par and the sari are really both a korban chatas, and they're really serving the same function to atone for tumas hakodesh when you go into the base of Midrash and your tameh, they're both serving the same function. So b'di'evid, not in the Kodesh HaKadoshim, but b'di'evid, like this Gemara is only talking about the sprinklings in the Oel Moed, in the Heichal. There, where we learn that V'chein yasel l'Oel Moed is a little different. It's a different than the Kodesh HaKadoshim. It's different. And basically what it's saying is that b'di'evid l'chadchila you should do it exactly like the Kodesh HaKadoshim. B'di'evid you could do it you could do it a mixture. B'di'evid it's a mixture because they're both, but the par and the sari are both a korban chatas. So they have the different first name, but they have the same last name. The last name is chatas. So because of that, so therefore as the Gemara says, nisarvu. You can do achas l'mala v'sheva l'mata l'shem par, achas l'mala v'sheva l'mata l'shem sa'ir. That works because b'di'evid, that's what even though there's tuma is when there's not clarity. Tara is where there's clarity. You know everything's set aside in its right place. Tuma, they're mixed together. The shechina, afilu shechina is besoch tumasam. The shechina is with the tuma, even when they're mixed together. It's tumasam. When they're mixed together, b'di'evid, they're both called the chatas. And therefore, even though technically it could be baltosiv, it's not really baltosiv because it depends on your kavanah. You're doing achas lamala v'sheva lamata l'shem par, achas lamala v'sheva l'shem sa'ir. Even though technically maybe you're sprinkling the par 14 times or 16 times, or you're not sprinkling the par at all, still, since b'di'evid it's okay to have a mixture. So as long as you do it l'shem par and then you do l'shem sa'ir, everything is okay. All's well that ends well.